Hi folks, what I'm making here today is a normally closed contact switch. Now what I mean by normally closed is that it's a switch. You can see these contacts here, silver contacts. Normally closed would be down. That's a normally closed. And then when it switches, this will lift up and it's basically an off position. So on position, off position. Now I'm going to tell you why I'm making this. It's because I spent hours looking for normally closed contacts, solenoids in relays, and for the most part I never found any. I found some small ones, but I need some large ones. And these ones here, you can see how large they are. So they're going to carry some pretty high current if need be, but I won't be applying and letting them carry that much current. One of them may be, say, 100 amp or so. That'd be about the maximum. And I believe these are rated for about 300 amps. So I have lots of room to carry the current. These here came from a friend of mine. They came out of electric forklifts. So I just used what I had there and made something up that was going to work good for me. And it's going to work good for me. And this is how I did it. So you can see here, there's a switch here, there's a switch here, and there's a switch here, and there's another one here, and there's another one here. So basically it is a 5-pole, 5-switch on one unit. So they're all together. And you can see here what I've done here to carry the contact out from the actual contact point. You can see I fastened a piece of copper strap that I had to bend around the block of hardwood, and then I'm going to attach my lead onto here. And these two pieces here are just screws, but I'm going to use a spring to make them have the spring pressure downward, and they're going to go off on an angle here on both sides. And then this screw here on top is going to be for the solenoid, so when it's activated, electromagnet, it will pull it upward, upward, upward. And here is one of the solenoids that I made. So see, when this coil here receives 12 volts, this here little plunger is going to go down. And when that goes down, it's going to lift this up. So you can see here I have 2 installed here. So when this coil here, which I have to wire it up yet, when this coil here is activated, is going to lift this switch up. When this plunger here moves up, it's going to lift this up with it. And then the springs that I will have going from here down on an angle to here is going to actually keep pressure on the switch to keep it closed so it can carry the current. And that's what I needed. I needed with a normally closed position switch, and I wasn't able to find one. So when I get this all assembled, I have a few more to go yet, I'll do another video and I'll hook up one of these coils to a battery and I'll show you exactly how they work. Now each one's independent, of course, so each little switch is going to be independent from itself. And you can see each switch, the carrier is going to be here, the current carrier. I'll be bolting back here, my lead, and the same with on this one, and the same with all of them. And then the main lead, which is underneath here, I have an aluminum bar that's underneath that, and it sticks out each end. So I'll have my other leads coming here and on the bottom side here. And these are the contacts that I'm using that a friend of mine had, because he works on forklifts and he had these as basically scraps. So I cleaned them up and they're going to work really, really good for what I'm using them for. So when I get this thing all put together, I'll do another video, and I'll actually have it 12 volt battery beside me, and I'll show you just exactly how these switches are going to go up and down. Well, I'm back. I have all the coils, the solenoids, electromagnets installed on my switching system. You can see them all there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have the battery, like I said, here. And I'm going to show you how it works. Keep your eyes on this piece here. This is the contacts underneath. That's how it's going to work. As soon as these coils here get excited, basically with 12 volts, because they're 12 volt coils, that's exactly what's going to happen. Is that contact there is going to separate itself, and when it separates itself, that means no more current flow. The electricity that's traveling through that contact will stop, and that's what I want. Most switches are already in the up position, which is basically like a switch in the off position. So I kind of wanted it to be the opposite of that. I wanted the switch to be in the on position, and I just couldn't find one. So I made my own, and there it is. Now each one of these switches here is going to have its own control, which is going to control this little coil. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you have not, and thank you very much for those that have.